Hello everyone, I am Teacher Will and welcome to our Statistics and Probability subject. And this will be our first video on Module 1, Random Variable and Probability Distribution. And for today's video, we will learn about the random variable. Okay, so let's start. As you can observe from this figure, how will I assign values to the results of this following events? As you can see, human beings are naturally fascinated with different events that involves probability. We are trying most of the time to make decision based on how likely a particular event or experiment will happen. Since probability is all about chance, human beings are trying to search for the ways to represent these events. That's why random variable has been created and use this concept to make it easy for us to verify the different results or probability of a given results, events or situations. In your basic probability class before, may mga napag-aralan na kayong mga terminologies that involves probability. Example is the experiment or events, outcomes, sample space, and sample. So, ano nga ba ulit itong mga terminologies na to? Let's define them. Experiments are any movement or activity which can be done repeatedly under similar or comparative conditions, while the outcomes are the result of a given experiment, while the sample space is the set of all possible outcomes of an experiment. So let's have an example para mas maalala natin kung ano ba itong mga terminologies na to. First example of an experiment is tossing a coin. And kapag toss natin yung coin, it is expected that it will show an outcome, either yung head or tail lang. Yan, head or tail. So that will compose our sample space. Okay, so write natin siya dito sa A. Let's say, let's represent yan, sample as S. So, compose head or tail. So, yan lang yung possible outcome ng ating pagtatos ng isang coin, a coin. And syempre, dalawa lang ang ating sample space, number of sample space, either head or tail lang. And let's say we are interested in knowing if it will turn to head. And again, the head is an outcome or the sample. So, ilang beses na lang ba lalabas ang head? So, isang beses lang. Pagkatos mo ng coin, isa lang naman ang posibleng lalabas ang head. So, 1 lang. So, to get the probability of getting head, kung matatandaan niyo yung formula natin of getting a probability of an event, that is P of an event is equal to the number of outcome over the number of sample space. So, in this case, yung sample outcome natin is head, which is isang beses lang. While the number of sample space is 2. So, ang probability natin is 1/2, or that is 0.5. Okay, so let's have another example. Second example of an experiment is rolling a die. So, kapag nag-roll tayo ng die, yan. So, ang lalabas lang naman dyan ay either yung 1, yung 2, yung 3 na dots, yung 4 na dots, yung 5 na dots, at yung 6 na dots. At syempre, since isang die lang yan, so yan lang yung lahat ng possible outcome na pwedeng lumabas. So, that will be our sample space. So, natin. So, the sample space of rolling a die is either 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots, 4 dots, 5 dots, and 6 dots. Yan. So, ang number of sample space natin ay 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 po siya. And let's say we are interested of knowing kung lalabas ba ay even number. So, ilang kaya ang probability nun? So, getting an even. So, ilan lang ba ang even natin dito sa ating sample? So, we have 2, 4, and 6. So, tatlo lang siya. So, tatlo lang po ang ating number of even. Tatlo lang. So, yun ay yung ating 2, 4, at saka 6. So, therefore, yung probability of getting even natin is 3/6. Or, that is 1/2, or 0.510. So, 50-50 din. 50% chance na makakuha ka ng even number. And of course, yung odd number niya, which is 135, is 50% chance din. Another example of an experiment, picking 2 balls inside a container containing 5 red balls and 6 blue balls. So, let's say ito yung container natin. Ito yung container natin at meron siyang laman na 5 red balls at 6 blue balls. Wari nasa ilalim na hindi na nakita ng iba. And, again, ang experiment is kukuha lang ng dalawang bola. Let's say, one at a time naman. One at a time siya. So, ano yung mga possible outcomes na pwede natin? Okay. So, maaari, ang pwedeng lumabas dyan ay parehas na blue. Tama? Parehas na blue. Let's say the blue will be represented as B and red is R. Okay? So, parehas na blue. Parehas na blue. Ano pa? Parehas na red. Pwede rin parehas na red ang makuha. Pwede rin naman yung unang mabunot mo is red at yung pangalawa ay blue. At pwede rin naman na blue yung una at pangalawa ay red. So, yan lang naman yung mga posibleng nating outcome sa pagbunot ng dalawang bola. Ngayon, ilan yan? Ilan lahat ng sample natin? That is, 4 lang. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yan. So, ngayon, what is the probability of getting 1 red? 1 red lang daw. So, dito sa mga outcome natin, saan ba dyan yung nakabunot lang na isang red lang? Yan. So, syempre, ito lang, RB, saka yung BR. Okay? So, RB at saka BR lang. So, dalawa lang. Probability of getting 1 red. Okay, 1 red ha. That is, dalawa lang. Yung RB at saka BR lang. So, therefore, 2 out of 4. Yan. So, which is 1/2 din or 0.5. So, 50% chance pa rin na makakuha ka ng isang red. The last example natin of an experiment is picking a card from a deck of playing cards. So, playing cards, ito yung barahan na madalas nilalaro natin. Yan. So, ano ba yung mga possible outcomes natin? Lahat ng possible outcomes. Kung bubunot tayo ng isang card, ano yung mga ilan yung lahat ng possible na mabunot natin? Okay? So, syempre, lahat ng nasa barahang yun ay possible na mabunot natin, which is very distinct naman in each outcome. Is na clover, 2 na clover, and etc. etc. So, lahat yan possible outcomes natin. So, hindi na natin siya isusulat kasi napakarami. Kaya, turo na lang natin. Ang sample space is, ayan, lahat yan. Yan yung lahat ng sample space natin. And, ilan lahat yan? Yan ay 52 lahat yan. 52. So, 13 times 4, di ba? That is 52 cards. And, ang gusto nating nalaman ay yung probability of getting face. Pag sinabi nating face, ito yung mga yan. Yan yung Jack, Queen, at saka King. Yan yung mga may face. So, ilan yan lahat? 1, 2, 3 times 4, that is 12. So, 12 yung ating face. Okay? 12. Nasulat natin, pero okay lang yan. So, yung probability of getting face natin is 12 out of 52. Ayan. Or, that is, ang ilo-lowest term natin, 3 over 13. In decimal, that is around 0.23. So, around 23% chance that you will get a face card. Naalala nyo naman na siguro yung ating probability, which is kailangan natin yung concept na yan dito sa ating topic na random variable. So now, pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa ating random variable. And syempre, dito we are looking for a number that will be assigned for the result of our experiment. So, kung sakali 3 coins na yung ating itutos, what number or value kaya yung pwede natin i-assign for the frequency of heads that will occur. Or kung mare, 3 card naman yung bubunutin natin sa deck of cards natin. O what number can be assigned for the frequency of face cards that will occur. Okay, so the answer for these questions requires our knowledge of random variable. Siyempre, siya lang yung makakasagot na. And if you may recall, pag sinabi natin variable, it is a characteristic or attribute that can assume different values. So, for example, in algebra, yung x natin, yung variable x natin, it can be any number. So, we always find that value of x. And of course, dito rin, hanapin natin ang value ng ating variable. And we will use capital letters to represent a random variable para maiba naman po siya at hindi tayo malito. So let's formally define random variable. It is a function that associates a real number to each element in the sample space. It is a variable whose values are determined by chance. So halimbawa, meron tayong experiment na tossing 3 coins. Ano yung mga possible na random variable natin dyan? So pwedeng hanapin natin ay number of heads that will occur when we test 3 coins. Pwede rin namang number of tails. Okay? So, next experiment, let's say we having 3 children. Nag-survey tayo sa mga pamilya na meron 3 anak. So, ang pwede nating variable dyan na itanong kung ilan ba ang lalaki or ilan ang babae sa 3 anak nila. Okay? So, maaari syempre may 3 anak. Puro babae, puro lalaki, pwedeng 2 lalaki, isang babae, at marami pang outcome. And next experiment is playing online games. So, ano ba yung mga possible na variable natin dyan? So, pwede natin dyan ay yung amount of time na ginugugol nyo sa paglalaro ng online games. Pwede yan. Or pwede rin naman yung number of mobile online games app na naka-install sa phone niyo. Pwede rin yun yung ating variable. At marami pang pwedeng variable na pwede natin i-under survey. And next, TikTok app. Ano ba yung mga pwedeng random variable natin dyan? So, maaari, pwede ay, siguro, ganun din, amount of time that we spend in watching or streaming in TikTok. Or pwede rin naman na number of videos in your drop files, or number of videos posted in your TikTok account. Pwede naman yun, or number of followers, at marami pang ibang variable na pwede nating makuha with the event of TikTok app. Okay? And okay, so let's try now to more elaborate. Let's have this first experiment. Suppose that we have 3 coins and we want to find out the number of heads that will occur after tossing 3 coins. Yan. So, syempre, ang random variable natin ay again, number of heads. So first, let's list down all the possible outcomes when we toss 3 coins. And so let's use the tree diagram para mas madali natin ma-identify lahat ng outcomes ng ating 3 coins. So first, on our first toss, we have the head tail. Second toss, this is the second toss. And third toss, ganyan ang gumawa ng head ng ating tree diagram kung maaalala ninyo ang lesson ninyo sa probability nung kayo ay junior high school. Ayan. So let's list down all the possible outcomes here on table. Ayan. So pinakauna is head, head, head. So possible na ang lumabas po natin ay pare-parehas na head. Head, head, head. Next naman, we have head, head, tail. Okay. Head, head, tail. Head, head, tail. Next, we have H, T, H. H, T, H. T, H. Next, we have H, T, T. So, head, tail, tail. Head, tail, tail. Next, we have, ano na tayo? Head, tail, tail. We have tail, head, head. Tail, head. Tail, head, head. Next, we have tail, head, tail. Okay. Tail, head, tail naman. Next, we have tail, tail, head. Tail, tail, head. And lastly, we have tail, tail, tail. Parehas na tail. Tail, tail. So, yan lahat ng element ng ating sample space. Or all our possible outcomes. Yan lahat ng possible outcomes. Ngayon, we want to find out the values of our random variable, which is the number of heads. Okay? So, sa unang outcome natin, H. So, ilan po ang ating head dyan? So, meron tayong tatlo. Tama? Tatlong head. Yan. Dito naman sa head, tail, meron tayong dalawa. So, head, tail, head, may dalawa din. Head, tail, merong isa. Tail, head, may dalawa ulit. Tail, head, tail, isa. Tail, head, isa pa rin. And pinakaulit, tail, wala tayong head dyan. So, ano yung mga possible values na ng ating random variable? Ito ay maaring walang head, may isa, may dalawa, at may tatlo. So, these are the values of random variable number of head. Okay? Yan. So, next natin, boys or girls. So, an experiment consists of studying the number of boys in families with exactly two children. The random variable x may be used to represent the number of boys. So, yung variable naman natin dito ay yung bilang ng lalaki sa pamilyang may dalawang anak. Okay po? So, let's use tree diagram ulit to identify all the possible values, possible outcomes of our sample space. Okay. So, let's have, so unang anak, panganay nila, so possible na lalaki o babae. Let's say B and G na yan. So, sa pangalawang anak, siyempre, possible na babae, lalaki din. Okay. So, tingnan natin kung ano yung mga possible outcomes natin. We have parehas na boy. Then we have parehas na girl. Parehas na girl. Boy tapos girl. Ayan, boy tapos girl. Tapos meron ding babae yung panganay, yung pangalawa ay lalaki. Meron boy. And yung pinakalas, we have parehas na babae. So, again, ang random variable x natin ay ang variable x natin dito ay number of boys. Ayan. Yan yung variable x natin. So, dito sa unang outcome, ilan ang lalaki? So, we have 2. Sa pangalawa, we have 1. Sa pangalo, we have isa din, yung bunso. At yung sa panghuli, parehas ng babae, walang lalaki po siya. So, ang possible values lang natin is either wala, may isa, at dalawang lalaki po. So, yun yung possible values ng ating random variable number of boys. Alright, so random variable can be classified, of course, in 2 types. So there are continuous random variable and the discrete random variable. So yung mga example natin kaninang random variable ay classified as discrete random variable. So in this module, we will only deal with discrete random variable dahil nga yung ating continuous random variable ay nangangailangan na po siya ng higher mathematics, which is hindi nasakop ng ating pagiging grade 11 ninyo. Sa college yan, sigurado kung kayo ay mag-take pa rin ng patungkol sa mathematics ay madidiscuss nyo yan. Yeah. So, let's have some examples to illustrate and distinguish ang discrete random variable from continuous random variable. Okay, so simulan natin sa discrete random variable. It is variables that can take on a finite number of distinct values. In easier definition, discrete random variable is a set of possible outcomes that is countable. Countable po siya. So, example ngayon, yung kaninang mga example natin ng number of heads, yung sa bibilang. Number of defective chairs, pwede yun sa classroom, kasi bibilangin din, nabibilang. Number of boys in the family, nabibilang din po yan, at may finite number po yan. And number of students present in the online class. Yan. So, and many more. Basta lahat na nabibilang. Next, we have continuous random variable. Yan, are variables that can take infinitely uncountable numbers. So, infinite po siya at mahihirapan po tayo magbilangin po yan. Then, regularly measurable amounts po siya. Often, continuous random variable represent measured data, such as yung height natin. Height, weight, temperature, speed, distance, lahat ng measured o lahat ng data ay measured. So, lahat po yun ay continuous random variable. Intindihan natin. Okay, am I discrete or continuous? So, our first experiment, Determine the defective cell phones in the given shipment. So, ang random variable x natin ay number of defective phones. So, anong klaseng random variable to? Number of defective phones. So, nabibilang po siya. Countable. So, therefore, it is discrete. Okay po. So, countable naman po siya. So, discrete siya. Next, experiment. Buying 2 trays of eggs in the market. And your random variable is the number, the weights of eggs in kilograms. So, since measured data siya, alam niyo na, that is continuous random variable. Okay? Next, rolling a pair of dice. Ano kaya ang random variable na pwede natin dito, which is discrete daw, dapat discrete. So, pwede natin number of events or number of odd. Okay, so, or siguro number of 6 na lalabas doon sa ating pag-roll. Ilang 6 ang lalabas. Okay? Next, learners will prepare for a quiz in mathematics. So, continuous. Prepare. So, prepare, ano bang ginagawa kapag nagpe-prepare tayo, nagre-review? So, pwede natin sabihin, amount of time. Amount of time in hours. Sabihin natin in hours of reviewing. So, since hours siya, or measured data siya, so that is continuous. Next, vehicular accident happened in Iba Zambales. Let's say, 2020. So, ang ating random variable ay the number of accidents happened at the COVID highway. 2020, mostly lockdown yan. Kaya, hindi lang din naman ang accidents during that time. Pero, of course, though ibang taon yan, mabibilang po natin yung number of accidents. So, that is discrete. So, lagi lang natin tatandaan na discrete random variable ay countable or nagbibilang, while yung continuous natin ay yung mga na-measure ang data countable. Okay? So, that's all for our lesson in random variable. We will continue this video for the discussion of probability distribution. Okay? So, thank you for listening. For any question, just PM me or mention me in our group chat. And thank you. And make sure to hit the notification bell to get updated, of course, with our lessons. Okay? Bye.